Hello again folks, today's video is going to be an unboxing of this TP-Link network switch which I recently purchased from Amazon. Now the reason I purchased it was basically to install in my workshop because I've got very patchy Wi-Fi in here and I've got quite a few devices that do require a network connection. I've got a couple of laptops set up permanently. I've got my good laptop which is basically fairly clean, there's very little software on it. I've got my dirty laptop, if you want to call it that. That's the one that's got all my software on there that I use for various things, PCB design and this, that and the other. I've got my LG solid state machine, which you've probably seen in a previous video. I've got another desktop which gets used rarely because it's an older machine, it runs XP, and I've got that purely because it's easier for using older equipment, such as stuff that uses serial and parallel connections. It's just a bit easier to have that. I've also got my Florian CCTV digital video recorder. It requires an internet connection, and I also like to have a spare network cable on the bench, so if I'm working on somebody's laptop I can just plug a hardwired network connection in rather than have to mess about putting Wi-Fi passwords and stuff like that in. The reason I didn't buy a gigabit switch is because, quite simply, my network connection that's coming into the workshop is via a power line adapter rated at 200 megabytes per second. So it's basically pointless spending money on a gigabit switch when there's not a gigabit connection coming in. That's the only reason. But yeah, I plumbed for this one. TP-Link, I've used TP-Link products before. This is a little TP-Link Wi-Fi router, mini router, and this is a really good little product. You know, what's a treat? Really effective. And also I can actually plug it into this as well to give me an enhanced wireless connection in the workshop if I want to as well. I won't be doing that just now, but that is an option. But yeah, TP-Link products, I've used them before. They're really good quality, and the price point is superb. Recommended retail price of this one is about £23. I got this from Amazon, delivered next day for £7.49. Unbelievable, really good value. This is the TLSF 1008D. There's a 1005D, and as you might guess, rather than having 8 ports, the 1005's got 5 ports. 1005 is £6.40, I think, including delivery, so you might as well just spend the extra quid and get the 8 port one. So we'll go ahead and have a look at it. I don't imagine it's going to be brilliant in here. We're not going to have too much. It's an unmanaged switch, so there'll be no software as such. Right, so we get a couple bits of sort of conformity stuff and user guides. Yep, just a little brochure showing us the other products. That looks a bit fancy, doesn't it? A 3-year warranty with it. I mean, that's superb. Yeah, 3-year warranty. I mean, even for the price. I mean, if it lasted a year, you just throw it away and get a new one. But they're actually giving you a 3-year warranty, so that's pretty good. We've got our power adapter, which is 5 volts at 0.6 amps, and it's obviously got the old appropriate CE marks and you know, security, and not security, environmental and safety marks on there. And then of course I've got the device itself, which is quite nice. Obviously we've got 1 to 8 on the back there, and our power on the side. Happy days. Sorry, just to pause the video there. Somebody just came to the door to deliver another Amazon parcel. Yeah, so we've got our power on the side, we've got our ports in the back, and we've got a power LED, and then our activity LEDs, 1 to 8 on the front there. Quite a nice, clean looking design. The only thing I'd say that isn't brilliant with this is it doesn't come with a wall mounting sort of facility. There's no holes there for us to mount it on a wall, so I'll probably just put a little strap around that and you know, fix it onto the wall somehow. But yeah, not too bad. Like I say, for the money, you can't really complain. What else did I get from Amazon? Well, to hook the switch up to the power line adapter, I get this short 30cm just patch cable. It's a horrible green colour, but it was 33p, including next day delivery, as an add-on item. So yeah, just keep the link between the power line adapter and the switch as short as possible. Another item I got were these RJ45 boots. These were £3.61, again as an add-on item for 50, and they just make your cables look a bit more professional, I think. So what I think we'll do is I'll actually show you how to put an RJ45 plug onto a piece of network cable. Now it's kind of 6 and 2/3 what's cheaper nowadays, whether to buy a pre-made cable or make your own custom cable. I personally like making my own because I can get them exactly the length I require, and again, you know, keeping your network cables as short as they can be is obviously the best way to go. So I had this big reel, or big coil of network cable lying around in the workshop. Now this is proper copper network cable. Many of the cheap reels of cable you can get on eBay are what they call CCA, which stands for copper clad aluminium, and CCA cable is not good in my opinion. It will work, but if you're anywhere where there's any kind of damp, or if it's going outside or anything like that, you're always better to have copper, because the CCA, the copper clad aluminium cable, is susceptible to you know, it can sort of corrode and break down over time. So I've just, if you didn't notice a jump cut, I've already stopped the video and I've terminated this this cable on one end with a connector and a boot, and I thought I'll just show you how to do you know, how to terminate this type of cable if you want to do it yourself. So what you're going to need is obviously the cable itself, cut to length that you require. Obviously if you're running this through walls, you might want to drill a hole, push this through and then terminate another end, otherwise you're going to need a fairly hefty hole to get it through. So that's just one thing to consider. Before you do anything, always put your boot on. Always put this on first, because I've done it, I'm sure many people have done it. You terminate your cable and you forgot to put this on, then you've got to cut it off and then redo it again. So yeah, always put this on first. So I'm going to be using this tool here. I've had this for 10 or 12 years now. It cost me, I think at the time, about £20, but this very model you can get from eBay for around a £5, including delivery now. It can crimp 6, 8 or 4 pin connectors, or pole connectors, whatever you want to call it, and it's got a nice flush cutter here for trimming your conductors to length. And if I just close this, you'll see it's got 2 cable strippers, or insulation strippers, one for round cable and one for your flat telecommunications type cable. So we'll go ahead and do this. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the round cutter, we're going to put our network cable in there, we're just going to give it a little twist around like so, and then that cuts neatly round the black insulation. It doesn't actually cut into the conductors. You may well find there's a little piece of thread in there as part of the manufacturing process, so it's worth just cutting that off just so it's out of the way. And then we're just going to untwist the pairs and get them as flat as possible. With copper cable, it tends to be a bit more stiffer than your copper clad aluminium, so just make sure you do sort of straighten them out as best you can, because it will make actually putting the plug on a lot easier. Okay, so just untwist your pairs. Like so. Last one. And there we have it. Now we're going to put these in order. I'm going to make a standard sort of network cable or a patch cable. If you're connecting between 2 computers directly, you may want to use a crossover cable. It's not always necessary. A lot of computers nowadays can use just a standard cable, but yes, if you need to use a crossover cable, just Google the layout of the wiring. But I'm going to show you how to do a standard patch cable. So we're going to start off with white with an orange trace, which is this one here, and we'll be going from left to right. So the plug should be orientated like this, so the opening or the aperture at the bottom for the network cable should be facing towards you, and the spring retention clip should be at the bottom. So essentially the gold contact should be at the top and away from you, and that is pin 1 to 8, left to right. So pin 1 on the far left is white with an orange trace. Then we've got orange. Then we've got white with a green trace. Then solid blue, like so. Then white with a blue trace, solid green, white with a brown trace, and then brown. So you want to squeeze these together and flatten them out as best you can. And all we're going to need is about a centimetre, just over a centimetre of conductors visible or out, sticking out the black insulation. So once I've got that, we'll verify we've got the correct order. So white orange, orange, white green, blue, green, white brown, brown. So that is the correct order for a standard patch cable. And then we'll use this little flat cutter just to trim that to length. And as you can see, it keeps them nice and level and ready to be put into the connector. So remember, keeping the contacts above and away from you. Keep that flat. Put it in, give it a little jiggle, and push it so you can just see at the top there the copper through the plastic. Once again, we'll verify that none of them have twisted over whilst we've been putting them in. So we've got white orange, orange, white green, blue, green, white brown and brown. And as you can see there on the brown, it's went right to the top, and the insulation is fully in the connector. Then all we do is take our crimper, pop it in there as if it was a socket, because it's shaped exactly like a socket, as you can see there. Push that in. I tend to hold the black insulation as I push that in, rather than squeezing it and pushing it in. It just makes sure the insulation is secure. And then we're just going to squeeze that in, give it a little couple of squeezes just to make sure that the pins have pushed through the conductors, as you can see it has there. And that's you. Job done. We then just slide up the boot, pop it on, and there's a fitted network connector. And if I just take this TP-Link router, you can see that clicks in there. Oops, little boot's squeezing that. And there we go, in there, nice and secure, locked in. And that's it, guys. Simple as that. Just take it out. So that's it, ready to be installed. Happy days. Like I say, you might want to just buy pre-made off the shelf. I quite enjoy making my own cables to length. I just, you can look back, you can look at it and say, well, I did that. I do like doing that with my projects and stuff like that. So yeah, I'd highly recommend making your own cables. Once you've got the knack, it's much easier. When I first started making these cables, it was like, it'd take me about 4 attempts to get it all done. But no, they're fairly easy to do once you know how. And these are cheap enough now. So in total, if you look at these, a good quality piece of network cable and all this here is going to set you back probably about £15. But look how many you've got left over, and then as you need cable, just buy it. Anyway folks, I shall let you go at that. Hope you found this useful or interesting. If you did, as always, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you again soon for another video. Take care.